That we have the creatives here in the creative industry. In the next few weeks or so, they'll be getting their enumeration when it comes to the budget, with the budget 2024-2025 expected to be presented in Parliament. We have that and so much more in the next few hours or so. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. But before that, let's get to inform you on the stories making headlines at this hour. We start off beyond our borders, where President William Ruto has assured Kenyans of increased vaccines availability after Kenya joined the International Vaccine Institute (IVI) as a member state. Speaking at the ceremony held to mark the country's ratification of the IVI treaty at the agency's headquarters in Seoul, South Korea on Wednesday, Ruto said Kenya's accession to the IVI boosts the nation's quest for self-reliance in vaccine production. This comes as Kenya received over 8 million doses of routine childhood vaccines following critically low levels in hospitals across the country.
Third day of President William Ruto's state visit in South Korea. Speaking at the ceremony held to mark the country's ratification of the International Vaccine Institute Treaty at the agency's headquarters in Seoul, South Korea, Ruto said Kenya had learned critical lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic's challenges in accessing vaccines and emphasized commitment to reduce reliance on external manufacturers of vaccines and other pharmaceuticals.
The time has come, therefore, for Africa to actualize health sovereignty by liberating itself from dependency on unsustainable frameworks and accelerating initiatives to become self-reliant in vaccine production.
President Ruto thanked IVI for announcing the establishment of a country and project office in Nairobi, saying it will bolster Kenya's universal health coverage agenda and promote African self-reliance in vaccine production.
In vaccine production and supply terms, no one is safe until everyone is safe. Making vaccines universally accessible to all our people, regardless of nationality and status, is an urgent imperative that we must respond to without any hesitation.
It has been shown that the surest way to prevent disease, Your Excellency, is through immunization. We can only achieve that by investing in vaccines.
IVI Director General Jerome Kim affirmed his agency's commitment to building a stronger, sustainable vaccine ecosystem that advances science, prevents disease, and saves lives.
With the exceptional support of the Kenyan government and our research and development collaborators, we're now preparing to establish IVI's country office in Nairobi, which will host an initiative called Advancing Vaccine End-to-End Capabilities in Africa.
Kenya is committed to partnering with the African Union Commission, Africa Center for Disease Control, the African Medicines Agency, the World Health Organization, and the IVI to strengthen the continent's vaccine production.
And let's come back here to the country, where the government has been challenged to curb wastages and corruption, seal tax leakages and tax evasion to sustain the national budget, as opposed to increasing taxes on commodities. Giving submissions to the Finance Committee, Anglican Church Kenya Archbishop Reverend Dr. Jackson Ole Sapit, however, said the burden of increased taxes should be shouldered by all.
Anglican Church of Kenya was on Tuesday among stakeholders presenting their submissions on the finance bill before the Finance and Planning Committee of the National Assembly. Anglican Church of Kenya Archbishop Most Reverend Dr. Jackson Ole Sapit saying instead of imposing new taxes and increasing taxes on basic commodities such as cooking oil and bread, the government should curb wastage and seal loopholes in tax collection.
The taxes we are paying going to what will benefit Kenyans generally, or they are misplaced and they are not put in a way that it comes back to me.
However, he was taken to task of whether to tax church donations and tithes, among other collections.
We are exempted from taxation on tithes and Sunday collections. But any other money we make, say we have a guest house or we have a hotel, we are not exempt from taxation, and we pay and comply with our taxation, and we file our reports.
Other stakeholders, including Telcom Kenya, Lexlick and Marketers Society of Kenya, called for rejection of taxes in the digital space, arguing the move will cripple the new digital jobs industry.
The 24,000 shillings threshold on withholding tax. This is likely to impact low-income earners and place them at a disadvantage. In our Gen Z language, we would say that this proposal is not giving.
Institute of Engineers of Kenya lamented that punitive taxes on local manufacturing were driving importation of cheaper goods from abroad.
And we are proposing tax exemptions on the implements that are going to help manufacturing possible. We're very strong on encouraging industrialization, because when we build industries, then we create employment opportunities.
The chair of the committee clarified that no decision had been made yet on the proposed taxes.
The decisions that we make as a country should not disadvantage us against our neighbors and have people shift from our country, go to other countries.
And in other news, a post-mortem conducted on the body of a child who died in a police cell at Kiambu Police Station in Makueni County on May 30th this CM has revealed that the late Alex Mutua suffered head trauma. The 19-month-old baby's family is now seeking justice against the police officers who allegedly assaulted his mother and him, leading to his death.
Days after police officers at Kiambu Police Station denied knowledge of the death of a baby, an autopsy conducted on an 18-month-old baby who died while in the police station cells has revealed that he succumbed to head trauma. According to the pathologist who conducted the post-mortem examination at Kiambu Sub-County Hospital mortuary, Dr. Grace Midigo, the baby was hit on the head, resulting in a fatal blood clot in the brain.
Nikatumiwa 6:30 message kutoka Kalembe Police Station inasema ati walinishika saa 11 ya mchana mtoto akiwa uwai, na alafu akasema ati nilikuja na mtoto nikarudi kwa nyumba mtoto akiwa sawa, na nikarudi huko saa 5 ya usiku nikiendea OB, ambapo nakaa na hiyo juu ameanza kujitetea juu walimbukiwa.
The late child's family, led by his grandfather Onesmus Chalo, have appealed for government's intervention in seeking justice.
Daktari amesema ameona kama huyo mtoto yani kifo chake kimetokana na injury ya kichwa. Kwa hivyo kama family tutaendelea na kujua hapo mbele iko namna gani, na haki ya huyo mtoto itendeke.
And apologies for that earlier. It is not Kiambu Police Station, it is Kiambu Police Station, and we do hope the family get the justice they require. Also to the corridors of the justice, where Ian Njoroge, the youth who allegedly assaulted and robbed a traffic police officer along Committee Road, has failed in his second attempt to be released on bail. Senior Principal Magistrate Ben Amake Kumbi has, however, ordered the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution to take Ian to Kenyatta National Hospital after his lawyer said he had been badly battered by police officers and needed urgent medical attention. The court will pronounce its ruling on the application this Friday.
The Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution on Wednesday, through lead prosecuting counsels Victor Owiti, James Gashoka and Virginia Kariuki, asked the court to deny the accused bail, stating that the offense committed was against the state.
In the traffic case, the state did not oppose bond. The reason being the seriousness of the offense. The traffic offenses were minor offenses, Your Honor. And that is why we did not oppose bond.
The assaulted officer Jacob Ogendo, through his lawyer Danstan Omari, told the court he will wish to testify in the court first before the accused Ian Njoroge is given a bail or bond.
The import of that, in the event he dies within 1 year and 1 day, the accused shall stand charged with the offense of murder.
However, defense counsels led by Duncan Okacha and Lempaso Yinka demanded that Njoroge be released.
If they're relying on social media, he's the tragic hero for refusing to pay a bribe. He has been dragged to court and is here with us. What will happen if you hand the accused person to the police officers who are in this courtroom in unprecedented numbers? Not even charges of terrorism have attracted such a huge chunk of police officers. What will happen to this accused person?
The court ordered that he be remanded at Industrial Area Medium Prison, awaiting the Friday ruling.
So what I want to say, I want to thank you. You've made very erudite arguments. I want to thank all the parties for their, the decorum and the tickles in between. So I wish to thank you. I'll see you on 7th at 9 a.m.
Elsewhere, Embakasi's legislator Babu Owino and 6 other co-accused persons have been set free in relation to the opposition organized protest last year.
And having regards that the sections declared unconstitutional are the same sections facing the accused persons before you, it stands that the charges before you with regards to all the accused persons have been nullified by that judgment, Your Honor.
The DPP sought to withdraw the matter upon a High Court decision that declared the charge of unlawfully assembly unconstitutional.
Based on that decision, the application made by the prosecution is merited. The case is therefore terminated under Section 87A of the Criminal Procedure Code. Cash bail deposited to be released to the respective depositors thereof. Orders accordingly.
Babu Owino and his co-accused were arrested and charged last year amid the nationwide anti-government protests by the Azimio la Umoja coalition. After 3-hour submissions from the defense, the victims and the prosecuting counsels, a pre-bail report has to be provided before the court for the court to know the background information about Ian before he can secure his freedom. Ruth Wamboi reporting from Milimani Law Court.
Thank you, Ruth, for that comprehensive coverage. Let's head over to Parliament, where members of Parliament have approved an increment of 51.1 billion shillings for the recurrent expenditure as the 2023-2024 financial year comes to a close in the next 3 weeks. Consequently, the lawmakers have reduced the budget for development expenditure for this financial year by 75 billion shillings. This comes as MPs took issue with the National Treasury for abuse of Article 223 of the Constitution, which allows the executive to withdraw from the exchequer monies that have not been appropriated for emergency needs.
With less than 1 month to the end of the 2023-2024 financial year, the National Assembly has adopted the second supplementary budget estimates, approving an expenditure of 51.1 billion shillings in recurrent votes, including fertilizer subsidies, enhancing security apparatus, and resettlement of flood victims.
So in terms of the recent rains, Honorable Speaker, we have had to expend public resources in terms of mitigation of the damage caused by the El Nino. And I want to assure honorable members that we have also incorporated the expenditure, both at Article 223 and the requirements for the remaining part of the financial year in these supplementary estimates.
Also in the increase in recurrent, some of that money, most of it is going to personal emoluments, and this cuts across various MDAs. Some of it is going to medical insurance for civil servants. Some of this money is even going to security operations. Some of this money, we've been told, is going to cater for allowances for our security and drivers.
Members approved the expenditure of 7 billion for the El Nino rains emergency needs, even as they cautioned against abuse of Article 223 of the Constitution.
And I think it is important as a country, Honorable Speaker, the executive does what it takes to reduce abuse of this article. If you look at this article, it only allows unplanned activities and emergency. And when you look at it at times, Honorable Speaker, you realize some of the expenditure items don't fall under that category.
Continue every cycle to complain about misuse of Article 223 of the Constitution. But we do nothing about it. In fact, we help the executive perpetuate this vice. I have proposed a legislation in this House, Mr. Speaker, to streamline and actualize and bring a statute to actualize Article 223, because it is too general. It is a blank check that we give the executive, more particularly Treasury.
It is your responsibility as the Public Accounts Committee to ensure that as we appropriate money under budget, we ensure that we are also not wasting the same money. And if there is a State Department that has wasted money, they should not be appropriated more money.
Legislators, however, expressed reservations with Treasury's proposal to reduce development expenditure, saying it will affect the economy.
What is the justification for this? When we are cutting development budget, we are simply not growing the economy. And so when we cut budget for this year, we affect the following year. Because the economic growth for the present financial year is supposed to help and influence what is supposed to happen in the economy in the subsequent financial year.
Is affecting development donor fund, partner funds. And Honorable Speaker, this is of concern because this may increase operational costs. And we are told that this has been attributed by shortfalls in revenue collection.
The estimates in terms of revenue that we had at the beginning of the year were a bit optimistic. But Honorable Speaker, that is not to say that we are not performing in terms of revenue. We are performing as a country with a double-digit growth in revenue, only that we projected to correct much more, and therefore we had overstretched our targets.
Meanwhile, the House approved Mediation Committee's report on the Division of Revenue Bill 2024, allocating 400.1 billion shillings to the counties in the next financial year.
And the budget will be presented next week, and of course we'll be keeping an eye on that. Now, elsewhere to business news, importers are required to register their consignment at the source country on a new integrated anti-counterfeit authority platform. Anti-Counterfeit Authority Chief Executive Officer Dr. Robbie Mbugua says the platform seeks to set up counterfeit surveillance on imports online and enhance product traceability of goods shipped into the Kenyan market.
The Anti-Counterfeit Authority says Kenya loses 800 billion shillings annually to illicit trade and counterfeit products, accounting for 9% of the total illicit trade. The Anti-Counterfeit Authority has trained its eyes on prevention of entry of counterfeit products from their source markets. Under a new integrated system, importers are required to declare the products at the country of origin.
Do with the counterfeit good at the source, even before those goods are shipped into the country or loaded into the ship, that whatever is going to be loaded into the ships and eventually come into our country is not counterfeit.
The integrated system will also have components to track goods from source to the market in efforts to trace illicit goods in the country.
This looks at providing a platform to support the business environment, fight anti-counterfeit initiatives, support its anti-counterfeit initiatives, protect the innovators, protect the businesses, and more important than anything else, protect the consumers.
The new platform will also see intellectual property cases filed online.
It is where we are allowing consumers, the owners of IP, to lodge any complaint. They don't have to come to our office to come and bring the cases they have.
The authority says it is holding counterfeit goods worth 1.5 billion shillings that it plans to destroy.
1.5 billion worth of goods that are held in our various depots, and most of the goods that we are holding include electronics.
The private sector recorded the sharpest expansion in activity in 20 months in May, driven by falling costs and increased new businesses. The latest Stanbic Bank Kenya's Purchasing Managers Index indicates that a reduction in fuel prices and import costs led to a further drop in overall input prices in May, after the first decrease in nearly 4 years was recorded in April.
The headline Purchasing Managers Index was a reading of 51.8 in May 2024. A Purchasing Managers Index reading above 50.0 signals an improvement in business conditions on the previous month, while readings below 50.0 show a deterioration. Expectations regarding output over the next 12 months rebounded strongly from February's record low, as falling inflationary pressures increased customer spending. Overall input prices fell for the second month running and was the fastest ever since the COVID-19 pandemic, due to dollar-shilling rates remaining strong. Additionally, Confidence by firms was fueled by planned investments in manufacturing and wholesale and retail sectors. Firms also continued hiring workers for the 5th month running. Concurrently, firms expanded their inventories and improved their buffers. The latest Stanbic Bank Kenya's Purchasing Managers Index survey indicates that Kenyan businesses expressed confidence about future activity than they did at the beginning of the year, with the improvement based on planned investment in marketing, new branches, recruitment, and purchase of new vehicles. Despite this optimism, concerns loom over potential challenges in coming months due to disruptions caused by heavy rainfall. This, as the manufacturing and construction sectors recorded decreased output.
And that concludes our segment here, but don't go too far. My colleagues, that is Vivian Degwa, DJ Unique, will be up next, of course, with the entertainment. And further on, we'll have Mike Mwigi speaking to the Postal Corporation of Kenya. How is it faring on? Those are the discussions we'll be having this morning. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. Don't go too far. You know, Entertainment Thursday, always keep it fresh.